Harmless Phosphorescence Smash!
Hello, everyone. This is Thoreau Smiley, and I'm unique, and that's why you can't relate to me. Who's here with me?
I'm Josh Cece, and I'm negative on drill penetration.
I'm Brian Lesh, and I'm here to tell you about my new line of herbal hair gel developed by disgruntled scientists.
Me llamo Alaric Weber y no le gustaría verme aburrido.
I knew you were going to do that one. Andy suggested I do it, and I was like, no, I think Al's got it.
That's all Al. And this is Harmless Phosphorescence. This is the podcast where we watch every theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather some research into the production and the source material, then we tell you all about it. This show, it is brought to you by our patrons. Be a patron! $1 a month, and you even get to hear an extra podcast every month with our monthly movie. That's all it takes to get started. Just head over to patreon.com/Harmless Entertainment. We've got a ton of other podcasts. We do Star Wars. There's some holiday shows on there. There's some music podcasts. So head over and check it out. This week, though, we are going to be talking about Hulk.
What happened to you last night?
I had the most vivid dream. It was like being born, coming up for air, the light hitting my face, screaming. My heartbeat was like boom, boom. Betty, what's happening to me?
I don't know.
I don't understand this. You were exposed to a dose of gamma radiation that should be lethal. Get out! But you seem just fine.
Maybe there's something different in you.
How little you understand, Miss Ross. My son is unique. And because he is unique, the world will not tolerate his existence. My Bruce.
I think the rage is triggering the transformations.
Sounds a little far-fetched.
I think we passed far-fetched a long time ago.
We're dealing with a monster.
He's a human being.
I will isolate it and treat it myself, and I'll kill it before it does any real harm. But would you really destroy part of yourself? I don't think so. You found me.
You weren't that hard to find.
You know what scares me the most? When I can't fight it anymore. When I totally lose control. I like it. We're gonna have to watch that temper of yours.
Hulk! Not the Hulk, not the Incredible Hulk, just Hulk.
First weird choice they made.
Yeah, exactly. Released June 20th, 2003.
I think maybe they just wanted their Hulk to be more credible.
I was waiting for someone to make that joke at some point. I'm glad we got it out early.
Yeah, just we connect to that.
With the running
The
time.
believable Hulk.
Yeah.
Sir, can you give a description?
This movie had a running time of 10 million hours, or 138 minutes.
We're all still watching it.
Yeah. It's been playing since opened
2003.
Since I was a kid.
Did you guys notice in my tag I changed the word angry to bored?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I said aburrido
They wouldn't like me if I'm bored.
instead of enojado.
Nice. You slick devil.
Easter eggs. That's what we're all about.
En español.
And then we explain the Easter eggs to you.
It's a podcast.
This is the best Easter egg hunt ever. Here's 3.
We're just making our own.
Yeah.
This movie cost $137 million. It took in $245.4 million at the box office, which means it's time to play the box office top 10 game.
Dun, 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 dun.
I got a little nulty on that.
Yeah, I think we should all get nulty at times.
That was more exciting than this whole movie, Thorough.
Yeah.
Just, yeah. Hulk out.
That's actually a pretty good nulty.
It ebbs and flows. Sometimes I nail it. It's like walking. Nobody's ever around when I get my Christopher Walken just right.
Yeah. So we're in like full-on blockbuster territory.
Yeah, so it was number one.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
If we ever come to movies that aren't blockbusters, I'll let you guys guess.
Okay.
Good enough. Yeah.
But clearly it's number one. So the box office top 10 game will consist of me reading the top 10 movies of the week of June 20th, 2003. I will read their box office mojo descriptions, and the boys here will try to guess what movie it is based on that description.
2003.
2003?
Did you say June 20th?
June 20th, yes.
Ooh.
All right. Yeah, that was my birthday. I wonder if I went and saw this.
Yeah,
On my birthday.
Another a birthday Hulk for Al.
I'm sure I saw it in the theater, but I don't remember either.
I definitely saw it in the theater. I don't know if it was opening weekend or anything, but yeah, I definitely saw it in the theater. I remember being pretty disappointed.
Right.
Yeah.
This movie, actually, at number 12, we still have X2. It almost squeezed in there. I'm actually going to do the top 11 because this one amuses me. And this opened this week. Opening at number 11, a waitress from Texas and a college student from Pennsylvania meet during spring break in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and come together through their shared love of singing.
Walk to Remember or something?
The Sound of Music.
Fort Lauderdale?
The Von Trapps in Fort Lauderdale.
German people love to visit Florida. That is not a stereotype. Look into it.
This is From Justin to Kelly, the American Idol movie.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
They tried. They really tried. I mean, gotta give them credit.
Yeah.
I'm sure it did well.
Oh, God. At number 10, Neo and his allies race against time before the machines discover the city of Zion and destroy it. While seeking the truth about the Matrix, Neo must save Trinity from a dark fate within his dreams. Within his dreams?
Neo and Morpheus' excellent adventure.
Yeah.
This is the third one, right?
No, that's still number 2.
Second one.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't Matrix 3. We still at it.
Yeah.
Revolution, or is that the third one?
Revolutions is the third. This is Matrix Reloaded.
Reloaded. Okay.
That's the one with Medea.
Big Mama's Matrix.
A very Medea Matrix.
That tells you nothing. That's all right. Number 10.
Set back in the 80s when Harry met Lloyd in high school, where they cross paths with the mean principal and a bunch of other outcasts much like themselves. That's not actually a sentence, by the way.
Yeah. It's Dumb and Dumberer.
Yes, when Harry met Lloyd.
Yeah.
Which I don't think I realized at the time was a Harry met Sally pun.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that movie existed. Number 8. 2 LAPD detectives who moonlight in other fields investigate the murder of an up-and-coming rap group.
Moonlighting. The movie.
That was my guess, too.
2003.
Like
finally.
When Bruce met Sybil.
Yeah.
Starring Harrison Ford.
Oh. And Josh Hartnett. Huh?
Yeah, that's the one.
I never saw that.
It was, I saw it on video. It was fine. It's Hollywood Homicide. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great.
It just seemed to me that all of Harrison Ford's reactions were how we would all react to Josh Hartnett.
Yeah.
It wasn't character driven.
No.
Arr, just arr,
Yeah.
arr,
Who are you?
Like, yeah,
arr.
yar.
You do the best impression.
Yar.
No, for the.
Number 7.
Wait, hang on. Can we get a movie with Josh starring as Nick Nolte and Thoreau? You can star as Harrison Ford.
Called. Is that Michael Deering?
It's called 36 hours because that's, we're not supposed to eat that long before our colonoscopy.
Oh, God. Okay, what number? Number 7 is what we're at. Opening this week. A writer must turn out a novel in 30 days or face the wrath of loan sharks.
Loan sharks in the publishing business? Apparently Houghton and Mifflin are really two guys and they'll come break your knees.
What? How does Buddy... Like, what kind of loan is that?
Based on your creative... yeah, that's weird. It's like, do you have any collateral? Yes, I do. Taps forehead.
This movie... let's see. This movie starred...
John Cusack or something stupid.
Yeah, I thought that was her. Okay, yeah. This movie stars Kate Hudson and Luke Wilson, the most 2003 cast of all time.
No.
Oh, and Rip Taylor?
Wow. Rip Taylor, not Torn.
No, Taylor.
Throws the confetti. That's great.
And Rob Reiner. Alex and Emma.
Oh, my God.
Number 6.
That movie's about loan sharks. We forgot as you read the cast.
Is Kate Hudson the loan shark?
No, Rip Taylor is. Just confetti everywhere as he shoots you in the back of the head.
Wow.
Number 6. A group of toddlers get tangled in an exotic adventure where they're helped by the Thornberrys, a family that travels the world making nature documentaries.
The Wild Thornberrys.
No, it's not.
No? Then it's Rugrats Safari or some shit?
Rugrats Go Wild.
Oh, Go Wild.
Not Gone Wild. Luckily.
They made a crossover movie with that weird, the redheaded family in the RV.
Yeah, Rugrats and the Wild Thornberrys crossover.
Yeah.
It's
it was produced by the same, but yeah. Then the Thornberrys got their own movie, right?
Yeah, the Wild Thornberrys. I think they had their own movie previously. I think we talked about it actually on the top 10 previously. Yeah, by both of them done by the same. What was the name of that animation studio that they did the Simpsons first 3 seasons? Not Chapo. something like that. I can't remember. But they did all that like ugly mid-90s animation
Did you
Duckman.
almost say Chaperone or
No, I almost said it Chapo. I was thinking of
El Chapo's
El
cartoon
Chapo.
animation.
What were they called? El
Chapo, I can't animate with no hands.
Right. It was something. That's going to bug me. I'll figure it out after the podcast so we don't have to make our listeners wait. Number 5. After being betrayed and left for dead in Italy, Charlie and his team plan an elaborate gold heist against their former ally.
Okay, I know. Anybody else want to guess?
Nope.
The Italian Job?
The Italian Job.
Oh,
It wasn't a bad remake. It was, an hour and a half long ad for the Mini Cooper, but
Yeah, I mean, I'd say a heist movie would probably, be easy to redo.
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I've got Rugrats is being produced by Klasky Supo Productions.
That's it. Say it again now.
Klasky Supo?
Klasky.
Clasby Supo. Okay, that's it. Yep.
weird.
Clasby
I've never heard
Chupo.
it.
That's where I got Chapo. It's pronounced Clasby Chupo.
Oh, it's pronounced Chupo?
Yeah,
Okay.
the CS. Chupo.
Okay.
That's where I got Chapo from.
Yes, the household name.
They were the
Oh, that's
animation
what-
studio that did the first 3 years of The Simpsons.
Isn't that what
Okay.
C.S. Lewis stands for too?
Chupo. Chapo. Chapo Lewis.
Supo Lewis.
And in this corner.
Yeah. So coming in at number 4, a guy who complains about God too often is given powers to teach him how difficult it is to run the world.
He
Oh
runs.
yeah.
The Donald Trump story.
Right.
Oh wow.
Sure.
Bruce.
Bruce?
Yeah, Bruce Almighty.
Yeah, Bruce. Not Evan. Number 3, oh my. Former cop Brian O'Connor is called upon to bust a dangerous criminal, and he recruits the help of a former childhood friend who has a chance to redeem himself.
Wait, say the part about finding a child.
Former cop Brian O'Connor is called upon to bust a dangerous criminal.
Former cop. I was like,
And-
called upon? Is that what we say when cops are involved?
And
Yeah,
he
former.
recruits the help of a former childhood friend who has a chance to redeem himself.
Got me.
Yeah. I don't know.
Too
Cats and
fast,
dogs.
too furious.
Oh.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
Yeah. Number 2. After his son is captured, a timid man sets upon a journey to bring him home.
Finding Nemo.
Yes.
Oh my God, I didn't think it would be that. though.
Yes.
You said man.
I know. I actually changed it a timid clownfish, but I changed it to man.
You sneaky.
Father would have been.
A timid father. Well, I was thinking
There
on
you
my
go.
feet out.
I know you're doing this on the fly.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm zigging, I'm zagging.
Which one will I do? Will I zig? Will I zag?
I don't even know.
I didn't even think about it. I'm not thinking about it now. And Hulk, of course, number 1. Bruce Banner, a genetics researcher with a tragic past, suffers an accident that causes him to transform into a raging green monster when he gets angry.
Same.
It's very same. Is that what you said?
Samesies.
I really related to this movie. 'Cause
Well,
I'm unique.
yes, exactly. Well, if you hear Stan Lee's, which is funny when Stan gives his explanations for his creations, but he's like, I was like the Hulk. I would get upset. I would yell at my wife and get mad at everyone. It's like, it was like I was a totally different person. We're like, oh, Stan, you're a genius.
So yeah, his explanation. Sometimes I got mad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, yeah.
Which brings.
Well, I do remember those stories in the late 60s when Stan Lee was knocking buildings over. Just punching out store windows.
Throwing fire trucks,
Oh,
Typical Stan.
Saying, "Oh, I'm so angry."
picks it up. He's all Excelsior.
That's why Marvel was so broke. They just were having to pay all these damages.
Paying all the damage for the incredible Stan Lee.
He's like, "I'm against you, giant building." But that actually brings us and segues well into our character background. Alaric Weber, tell us, how did this come about? This.
All right. So the Hulk, he was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
Shocking.
First appeared in The Incredible Hulk #1 in May of 1962.
Subtitled The Return of the Incredible Hulk.
Bane's Revenge.
It was actually his first comic was it was a cooking comic book. It was basically him going over recipes and destroying the kitchen.
Oh. He's like, my souffle fell.
I'm in a paradox.
No, that's a lie. Okay, so
the old bait and switch.
Let's see. Influences on the character include the stories of Frankenstein, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and the Golem of Jewish mythology. Others have interpreted the Hulk as a reaction to the Cold War and a prevailing notion that nuclear power could produce monsters and mutants.
Yes, that was big.
Clearly, yeah.
Very big at that time.
The character's alter ego was named Bruce Banner because Stan Lee had less difficulty remembering alliterative names.
You're kidding.
But you know what? It works. It's funny that that's a little quirk on Stan's part, but it's a comic thing, and it's I don't know. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Despite this, Lee referred to him as Bob Banner in a later story.
It's so alliterative.
And they
Benny Banner. I don't know.
They had to resolve this discrepancy by giving him the official full name of Robert Bruce Banner.
Oh.
Goes by Bruce.
So Stan Lee forgot his name, and so they had to put a canon explanation in.
That sounds about right, though.
They added another name because that'll be easier for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob Bruce Banner. That's a lot of B's. Okay,
Bob Bruce Benjamin Banner.
During the experimental detonation of a gamma bomb, Bruce Banner, a scientist on the project, saves the life of Rick Jones, a teenager who was driven onto the testing field on a dare.
Right, that's so much more dramatic.
I loved Rick Jones's work with the Stones, by the way.
So, Al, is gamma radiation a thing? Like a gamma bomb?
Gamma radiation is a thing. I don't think there's ever been a gamma bomb.
Is it dangerous?
No.
Is it something that has like a lot of potential energy?
Is it just fallout?
No, it's not just fallout. It's a different kind of particle. You get like alpha radiation and beta radiation. So they're alpha particles, beta particles, and gamma particles.
All right.
What happened to the delta and I don't know what C is?
I think there's a delta particle. Yeah, you're really quizzing me on the science here.
No, you've adequately answered my question.
Cool.
Which I appreciate.
No, I'm just embarrassed that I can't remember if delta particles are a thing or not. I'm pretty sure they are. If they made it all the way up to gamma.
Gamma, hey.
Or is gamma like, isn't gamma the third letter in the Greek alphabet?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think you're right.
Or perhaps they were named after Stan Lee's Gamma, who told him all about particles.
My gamma.
According to Wikipedia, a gamma ray or gamma radiation is a penetrating electromagnetic radiation arising from the radioactive decay of atomic nuclei.
Right, that's what I was going to say.
You did mention decay. It consists of the shortest wavelength electromagnetic waves and so imparts the highest photon energy.
So it's the bad shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very high energy type of radiation.
So after injecting yourself with starfish juice, you should not subject yourself to those rays.
You should definitely not do it after the starfish juice.
I'll have 2 starfish juices and then a sensible dinner
of penetrating gamma radiation.
Well, right on, Al. Thank you, and on behalf of the listeners, thank you.
Oh, right on. Let's see. So, Banner pushes Rick Jones into a trench, but is himself absorbed with gamma radiation. Seemingly unscathed, Banner would later transform into a lumbering gray Hulk. A transformation triggered in the first few issues. It seemed like it was triggered by Nightfall, and then after a few issues, his transformation is triggered by anger.
Maybe he just got really mad at night. Like, oh, it's getting dark again. Ugh.
If I see the moon again, god damn it.
Rick Jones witnessed him transforming during the day and after a few issues. Let's see. Banner was cured of Hulkism by issue number 4, but but he chose to restore the Hulk powers while maintaining his own intelligence using a gamma ray device.
That was done that early in his career? Or
it was.
Story? Wow.
Yeah. Wow. It was a big storyline in the 80s. Joe Fix-It and all that.
Professor Hulk, just right from the get-go.
Professor Hulk.
Mm-hmm. So in the first issue, I don't know how long it went on, but in the first issue, the Hulk was gray, and apparently the publisher had issues consistently printing gray as a color.
Oh,
so they switched it to Stan Lee decided to change it to green, which was easier to print, and he chose green simply because that color was not being used by a lot of characters at the time.
Okay.
So
there was extra dye.
Right. But they don't know how to do the toning of black ink like we can now. So that's why gray is harder. That's interesting.
Yeah. Let's see. The Hulk original series was canceled with issue number 6 in March of 1963. That same month, Hulk made a guest appearance in Fantastic Four number 12, and then he would become a founding Avenger in September of 1963.
He was in his first issue. The Fantastic Four was in it, right?
In his first issue?
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Okay, cool. Never mind.
After a couple of issues of the Avenger, Hulk turned into a raging bitch, and they couldn't work with him for a little while. And that was due to the overuse of the Gamma Machine, which rendered the Hulk an uncontrollable rampaging monster subject to spontaneous changing.
Whoa.
So when he helped form the Avengers, he was a little bit more like the Joe Fix-It character. He was brutish but not unintelligent.
Right.
And then his continued use of the gamma ray machine made him more savage and childlike. So they couldn't work with him anymore for a while.
You had to go on unemployment.
The Hulk storyline would continue in Tales to Astonish, number 59, as of September 1964, until the book was renamed The Incredible Hulk, Volume 2, in April of 1968. And I mentioned that he had a more savage and childlike persona. His changes were triggered by stress. The Incredible Hulk as a book would run until 1999, when it was canceled and Marvel launched a new series simply titled Hulk.
All right.
So it was the title that people weren't responding to.
Yes. I don't know if this guy's incredible. He's just kind of Hulk to me.
It's been 40 years, but
I believe it by now.
Yeah.
Well, did
So
they do that
already-
with Spider-Man correspondingly? Like, did the Amazing Spider-Man lose the Amazing? Maybe.
Yeah.
That may have been a trend across the whole, line.
The Fantastic Four just became 4.
4.
Well, I love that Spider-Man is amazing, but Peter Parker is spectacular.
Well, they became like Future Foundation at one point, right? Wasn't that the 4?
Oh,
I don't know if that was around the same time. Anyways, not to defend that weird name of this movie, but at all.
There was a Fantastic Four series under the Marvel Knights line that it didn't really have words written as a title. It just had the 4.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that was them dropping the Fantastic.
well, I mean, let's not forget that the movie we're going to be reviewing in weeks-ish
Yeah.
is actually, if you read the title out, is called Fant4stick.
Oh, man.
Oh, wait, no, that's the 2013 one. The 2013 one is Fant4stick.
They were giving out Fan 4 sticks the opening night, too. It was pretty cool. If you got one, they glowed and they, have a bubble on one end and made of rocks.
Okay. Back to Hulk. There were 2 popular TV movies released in 1977, leading to the TV series that ran from 1978 to 82 with Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno. And it was the TV show that would introduce the catchphrase, "Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry."
Yep. And
There
they changed
was-
his name.
And
David.
David,
he was
right?
Yeah.
David.
Yeah, they changed his name because in the late 70s, when the show premiered, Bruce was synonymous with the homosexual community. It was another
It was
word.
foppish.
Yeah, it was another word for you'd call a gay man a Bruce.
Well, that's awesome. That's a cool nickname.
Yeah. So, but Robert didn't cut it.
Yeah, yeah.
We just found out he was Robert Bruce Banner. They're like, you know what Robert
Yeah.
means? No.
I'm not sure.
That's
There
pretty
were-
disappointing.
There was also an animated series that aired on UPN for 2 seasons, and said it was 96 and 97, which is really weird because I could have sworn I used to watch this cartoon in high school, but I must be wrong.
Yeah, I don't remember a Hulk cartoon when I was younger.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on to Elizabeth Betty Ross.
Oh, just really fast before we're off the Hulk itself. The 89, the final Hulk TV movie that was made with Bixby and Ferrigno, the Trial of the Incredible Hulk. His lawyer was Charlie Cox. Or not Charlie Cox. That's the actor. Matt Murdock.
Matt Murdock.
His lawyer was Matt
we
Murdock.
talked about that.
And that was actually a backdoor pilot for a Daredevil show that never came to be.
I'm a backdoor pilot.
For Daredevil.
Yeah. I'll get you off these charges.
Anyways, go ahead, Al.
All right. Elizabeth Betty Ross. She debuted alongside the Hulk in The Incredible Hulk #1 in 1962. She would be a love interest of Bruce Banner, and she was the daughter of General Ross. So she wasn't a scientist. She was just General Ross was in charge of this project, and he just kept her around.
She's the coffee girl. She was the coffee girl.
He couldn't get a babysitter or something.
Well, she was in her 20s or 30s.
Oh, that's right.
He was just very protective of her, and I don't know, always had her close by.
Be like, if you leave, we have no love interest. All right.
There's no leverage against this.
I'm trying to catch this Hulk here. I need a love interest for him, not me.
Need some Hulk bait.
Hulk bait.
It's like Jailbait.
but more specific.
Betty Ross nearly married Bruce Banner in February of 1970, but the wedding was interrupted by the leader.
Someone pushed him out of the way of a marriage. He's up at the altar taking his vow. Just almost got married is funny.
Yeah. So they were set to get married because Bruce had supposedly taken, he had control of his Hulk changes. But at the wedding, the leader shows up and antagonizes him, and he turns into the Hulk at the wedding. So I think
there you go.
They called it off.
Uh-huh.
Hulk objects.
Hulk objects.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the character of the leader comes up in the next one, but yeah, they should have used that story arc, the leader, instead of these weird Nolte Elliott.
This
things.
made up bullshit story they did. Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Al.
I'll talk about that later. But okay, so Betty Ross, that's right. She married Glenn Talbot in December of 1972.
Glenn Talbot.
Yeah.
And they were registered at Crate and Barrel.
After Talbot's death in 1981, Betty would marry Bruce Banner in 1986. At a time when Bruce Banner and the Hulk were physically separated.
They were really going through some shit.
They were consciously uncoupling.
Betty would be turned into the Harpy in 1973 for a short while.
Because blah, blah, blah.
Because dames.
Yeah.
My ball and chain.
She would also become Red She-Hulk in 2009 for a while.
Whoa.
She-Hulk is, I still maintain, is the funniest.
I know, but she would translate to a movie so well. I'm surprised Marvel hasn't really gotten on that.
No. There's the series is in production.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Disney Plus.
She's a lawyer, and she doesn't have any of the dim-wittedness, so she retains her personality and intellect
Even though she's a lawyer.
Yeah, right, because she doesn't change. That's correct. But anyway, yeah.
All right. General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. He also debuted in the first Hulk comic, nicknamed Thunderbolt for his quick temper.
Mm-hmm.
He was the head of the Gamma Bomb project that turned Banner into the Hulk, and he pursues the Hulk with a growing obsession.
I'm so into this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like his Moby Dick, but green. I don't have a ton on T-Bolt Ross because he's basically just a general who pursues the Hulk, except in 2008, he was transformed into the Red Hulk to better combat his nemesis.
Weird.
Yeah.
And Red Hulk ran with the Avengers for a while.
As a bad
other
crowd.
biker gang. Yeah, other biker gang.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of weird, General Ross, he's like, oh, I hate this Hulk guy. Hey, turn me into a Hulk so I can go beat up the Hulk.
Right, not attain understanding.
Yeah.
Right.
Just to fight.
He's like, to destroy him, I must become him. I'll take my face off. Anyways, all right.
And finally, we have Major Glenn Talbot, created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. His first appearance was in Tales to Astonish number 61 in November of 1964. He was a rival for the affections of Betty Ross, a close companion to General Ross, and an active participant in Ross's operations to capture or kill the Hulk. As we mentioned, he married Betty Ross back in 1972, and in 81 he was killed while battling the Hulk in the War Wagon prototype weapon suit, I think. And they were battling in Japan when he died.
So it was scenically beautiful.
Yeah.
They went for the cherry blossoms.
Yeah, exactly.
He's on TV as a different character.
He might be. I think he's dead by now, right?
Oh yeah, he's dead.
Did we like they shoot him into the sun or something? But yeah, it was on. That was on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
He was portrayed by Adrian Pasdar, the Flying Man from Heroes.
Yeah.
If you don't recognize the name. He was at first an adversary of S.H.I.E.L.D. and then became a begrudging ally.
Okay.
And a superhero.
And then he went super psycho. But yeah, he was kind of a cool character on S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, S.H.I.E.L.D.
He became
pretty awesome.
Yeah, Talbot, man.
Were his tips frosted?
I have a Talbot poster.
No, I don't believe his tips were frosted.
It's a damn shame.
Yeah. All right.
What is that code for?
That's what we got.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Al.
And just to put it on the record, we said it off air. You didn't find any mention of his father or his father being a scientist, and
no. I saw a mention of something that said his father's name was also Robert.
It's funny because it's David in this,
which I think is a nod towards the series, probably.
Sure.
Yeah.
Precisely. No, I didn't dive deep enough to come across any like real family history for the Banners.
I don't think it's hidden. I don't ever remember hearing or reading, not hearing.
Yeah.
Stan Lee calls me up. Extra.
Yeah, in the comics, the creation of the Hulk was relatively simple.
Yeah.
He got hit by a blast from a gamma bomb, and that was it.
Yeah, he was a scientist in an accident. Boom, you're done.
Yeah. Totally works.
Yeah. So
is that why it was so incredible?
I don't believe it. This fucking guy.
Anyways, yeah. So that brings us to the movie. They started developing a Hulk theatrical release in 1990, right after the final TV movie with Bill Bixby. That got good ratings, so they were like, "Okay, let's try to make a movie." And this was kind of the period where Stan Lee was trying to make a lot of Marvel films unsuccessfully.
Yeah, he was hawking the properties.
Right.
Around.
So this belongs to Universal. The Hulk belonged to Universal, and it kind of got caught up in the whole when Universal had the distribution rights of Spider-Man and all of the other. It got caught up in that whole deal, but Universal ended up retaining the rights to this one, whereas others they did not. So they were.
Yeah, Universal still has production rights to the Hulk, correct?
Not production.
Distribution.
Distribution, yes. Which is why there hasn't been a standalone Hulk movie since the 2008 one, because Marvel just doesn't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
So this movie went through a lot of different writers and directors. The closest it got to being made prior to this was in 97 when Joe Johnston was going to direct.
Oh,
yeah.
What else?
Joe Johnston? Joe Johnston.
No, I was just reading about him. You don't have to.
No, he was really big in the 90s. He was making a lot of...
Oh, he made Jumanji. That's what I had just read about recently.
Yes,
okay,
yeah. Jumanji, Jurassic Park 3, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, The Rocketeer.
Oh.
So we've talked about him before. So he let's see. Then Jonathan Hensley was supposed to direct. Hensley helped write a script. There was a Zach Penn script floating around in the late 90s. Zach Penn, who would later go on to write the 2008 Incredible Hulk. J.J. Abrams did a pass on one. David Hayter. The 97 version, they actually got into doing the previs, ILM. There's some 97 era CGI ILM tests of Hulk character with Billy Crudup as was going to play the role. So the 97 version, the face is made to resemble Billy Crudup.
Far out.
From Almost Famous.
Yeah.
Is what I know him from best personally.
Jesus' son.
Yeah.
And there was a point when the Hulk was supposed to be animatronic, correct? Did you run across that?
I saw like a sentence about it from the mid 90s. Yeah.
Well, if they were talking about it in in 1990, he would have to be. There was no mocap really.
Yeah. There's no way they were gonna make a CGI version of Hulk in the early 90s.
But wouldn't that be crazy if he, just like the T-Rex from Jurassic Park, like if it was a big animatronic Hulk?
That would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
Let's see. So that's 99. Ang Lee came on with his team, and that's when they geared up and started writing and got this made.
That's when they made Hulkback Mountain.
Ang Lee, of course, is a Taiwanese filmmaker, best known for Brokeback Mountain. Let's see, he did Eat, Drink, Man, Woman, Sense and Sensibility, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, The Life of Pi. Gemini Man was his last movie. Ugh.
He didn't make Old Boy, did he?
No, that wasn't Ang Lee.
Okay,
that was oh God, who was that?
I'll look it up while you're talking.
Yeah, I should know who that was. But Ang Lee, he's a good director. I just don't think this was a good fit for him. Wow.
There are a lot of weird choices. There's probably not all his, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of choices that you can tell are directorial choices, though, that clearly were his. This film,
Park Chan-wook directed Old Boy.
Okay.
All right.
The screenplay was by James Schamus, Michael France, and John Turman. James Schamus
should be ashamed of himself.
He should be.
Worked quite a bit with Ang Lee. He wrote Eat, Drink, Man, Woman. He was a producer on Sense and Sensibility. He wrote The Ice Storm.
Eat, Drink, Man, Woman. He wrote it all caveman style.
That was also a Hulk movie.
Yeah.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Taking Woodstock. I remember that movie. That wasn't great.
Yeah.
So we've got Michael France, who wrote France. No. Let's see. Michael France. He wrote a script for GoldenEye, The Punisher, Fantastic Four, The World Is Not Enough, Cliffhanger. John Turman, third writer on this thing. Let's see. He wrote The Crow, Stairway to Heaven. He was writer and producer. That is the series, not a movie we will have to watch.
Yeah.
He's got a writing credit on Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, and he wrote Ben 10, Alien Swarm. This movie starred the cardboard cutout in the shape of Eric Bana.
Banner.
He started out in a sketch comedy troupe in Australia. Yeah. His big break was a comedy drama called The Castle. Then he was in Black Hawk Down, which brought him to the attention of of Hollywood. He was in Troy, Munich. He was
hilarious in Munich.
Yes. Let's see, the Star Trek reboot, the 2009 reboot.
He's a Romulan, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
A time-traveling Romulan.
Yeah. And he was in The Time Traveler's Wife.
As a Romulan.
Yeah.
As a Romulan. It's like, here's what was happening with her while I was...
This movie, though, it was like Eric Bana and his two expressions.
Yeah.
Jennifer Connelly, we've spoken about before. We last saw her in The Rocketeer. She's continuing to be Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah. She's all
I like
right.
seeing her again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was great.
I usually like seeing her.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, she's great in everything she does. Mr. Sam Elliott.
Ooh, this was his breakout role, I heard.
Yes. As Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. His actual breakout role, which I recommend everyone go watch the trailer for, was 1976's Lifeguard. Did you guys watch that trailer?
I watched that trailer.
No, I didn't.
He is a hunk and a half, Al, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so did mothers and grandmothers everywhere.
He's this girl's summer fantasy.
Yes. That was the tagline for the movie. Every girl's summer fantasy. Sam Elliott has the Lifeguard. It was amazing.
Dude.
Of course, he's best known for Westerns, honestly. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Gunsmoke, Murder in Texas, The Quick and the Dead, Tombstone, which is one of the nominees for this month's monthly movie.
Please choose Tombstone, people. It's crazy.
It is.
There was a 70s, horror suspense called Frogs.
Oh, yes.
That I actually own on DVD.
Nice.
That had Sam Elliott as the lead character, I believe.
Nice.
I think he didn't have a mustache. It was
weird.
eerie.
Yeah.
And
yes.
yeah, Brian is showing us the promo poster from Lifeguard.
It's amazing, Brian. Watch the trailer off air.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna. Wow.
And actually, Sam Elliott's first superhero movie was Mask. Right?
Yes. Oh man. Yeah, he is. Of course.
I just remember watching that, and I'm like, when is Eric Stoltz going to get all like crazy and put on a zoot suit?
He's like, somebody stop me
from living with this genetic disorder.
We'll see Sam Elliott again in Ghost Rider, in 2007's Ghost Rider, as well as we won't see him in this, but he most recently was in the 2018's Star is Born.
He's also the cowboy in Lebowski, The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, exactly.
Many theories as to what he is, but he's the storyteller.
Yeah.
In a manner of words. He's speaking.
Josh Lucas played Glenn Talbot, and his...
That's that dude's name? Josh Lucas?
Yeah, Josh Lucas.
He's such a low-rent McConaughey.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
I'm sure it's not hard to get McConaughey, but...
In 2003 especially. Josh Lucas and his Frosted Tips starred in American Psycho, You Can Count on Me, The Deep End, Beautiful Mind, Sweet Home Alabama. Wait, was McConaughey in that?
He was, yeah.
So that had Connie and Josh. I wonder if they played brothers?
Yeah, exactly. I hope they played brothers. If not, then, oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. The Lincoln Lawyer. Oh my God.
McConaughey's in that too, right? No,
Yeah.
he's in the time. Oh,
Yeah,
he is
in The Lincoln Lawyer. Yeah. J. Edgar, Ford versus Ferrari. Yeah. Oh, Nick Nolte starred as David Banner. Mr. Nicholas Nolte got his start as a model for hair dye.
Yeah, that's wild.
This
then Rich Man, Poor Man was his first.
Yeah. He, of course, the first movie I remember ever seeing him in was Cannery Row.
Yes, but 48 Hours was the first time I probably knew who he was.
I definitely didn't know who he was, but I watched Cannery Row multiple times as a kid. Actually, it was probably around the same era as 48 Hours that I was watching it. But yeah, Who'll Stop the Rain, 48 Hours, Down and Out in Beverly Hills.
Oh, that's so good.
That is such a good movie.
I saw that at a drive-in theater.
That's
the Danza before it was torn down.
Nice.
And it was paired with Ruthless People, I believe.
Oh,
wow.
That's a good double feature.
Punch.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure. Another 48 Hours.
Yeah. Just combine them.
Yeah. Cape Fear, Lorenzo's Oil, Tropic Thunder. I forgot he was in that. He's Nick Nolte. You know who he is.
And so, was this movie made around the time that he got arrested and had that mugshot?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, because, they look the same. I don't think they had to do any hair or makeup with Nick Nolte. The mugshot is exactly what he looks like.
I kept watching this movie. I kept turning to Jude and saying like Nick Nolte was saying, do you think this haircut makes me look crazy?
Yeah, like I go to Busey's guy.
So he grew his hair out for this movie. Mm-hmm. And then he got picked up on the DUR charges. So he had movie hair in his mugshot.
Or did he just refuse to cut his hair for the movie out?
No, this character needs to have crazy wild hair.
Yeah, he does.
He's not getting haircuts often. That's not where his mind is.
No, it's not. Cara Buono as Edith Edith Banner. She's best known as Mrs. Wheeler in Stranger Things. She was also in Mad Men, Sopranos. We've got Celia Weston as Mrs. Krenzler. Oh, wow. We're really getting down there, aren't you? That was so confusing to me. The at the end of the montage where he suddenly has a new mom.
Yeah. It was me too. It was very odd. I didn't realize what was happening.
Yeah. She's a character.
Just like it was unclear as to what happened on the other side of that door. Maybe I'm jumping the gun.
Very unclear. Yes.
Yeah.
And then nothing. It turned out nothing happened on the other side of that door. It happened in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Anyways, Celia Weston, well-known character actress, talented Mr. Ripley in The Bedroom, Dead Man Walking. Kevin Rankin as Harper. Oh, Kevin Rankin as Harper, the best friend who mentions his helmet.
Yeah.
He is best known as the skinhead dude on Breaking Bad. Not the skinhead, but the white supremacist guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Kenny. That was his name in the show, Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
This movie has 62% on Rotten Tomatoes. I could not find an Ebert and Roper clip to play for you guys. Ebert and Roper Roper at least ran through at least 2008. So I'm sure they reviewed it. Can't find it. But Roger Ebert wrote, Ang Lee has boldly taken the broad outlines of a comic book story and transformed them to his own purposes. This is a comic book movie for people who wouldn't be caught dead at a comic book movie.
Jesus Christ. He never softened. It was always for children.
Yep. He just didn't get it, and he never, ever would.
Right.
Real quick, I had some interesting notes about the casting.
Uh-huh.
So Edward Norton was initially approached to be Bruce Banner. But Edward Norton, being a fan of the comic books, he didn't like the script.
Yeah.
Good for him.
He passed on it. some other people who were considered for the role. You mentioned Billy Crudup.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Tom Cruise, Johnny Depp, Jeff Goldblum, David Duchovny, and Steve Buscemi.
Huh. Oddly, Eric Bana's the right choice out of that list.
He is.
Oddly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know the character was supposed to be like very, very unemotional to contrast with the Hulk, but he just did nothing in this film.
I know, but if you were watching it with any one of those other stars just named, you would be distracted by this star.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When this came out, I had no idea who Eric Bana was, and so I don't know.
I still don't.
There's no way to make Tom Cruise changing into the Hulk not hilarious.
Yeah. Actually, I really want to see that movie, but not because I think it'll be good.
He's 5 foot, so when he hulks out, he just goes to 6 feet.
Yeah,
I'll be your wingman.
Which reminds me, like,
and Steve Buscemi, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but Buscemi.
Like, I believe you turn into something, but it's not the Hulk.
Eric Bana was not a fan of the comic books, but he was a fan of the show from the 70s.
Mm.
Stars love to say that.
Yeah.
I didn't read funny books.
Sam Elliott, he signed on to this without reading the script. He was just really excited to work with Ang Lee.
Far out. Good for him.
I don't know if he has regrets or not.
He has a few,
but too few to mention.
Yeah.
And Nick Nolte was always the first choice of the producers to play David Banner.
Yeah. I mean,
wow.
he was, well, I mean, especially towards the end when he starts really nolting out.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it was definitely a role made for him. Yeah, so
it literally was a role made for him.
Yeah, exactly.
If they always had him in mind.
And it was a role created for the film that didn't exist in comics. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So with that, are you guys ready to get into it?
Let's make the 10,000 foot leap.
Yeah.
That is still somehow fucking boring.
Right. Yeah. Well, here it is. Hulk. We open with a credit sequence. Traveling through the body and science stuff. So,
right. Cell splitting, but still.
Slightly different, but essentially the same idea as every single Marvel movie we've seen so far.
Right.
Yeah. We also, we had the page flips.
Yeah.
And
green Marvel.
They were tinted green. The panels that we see behind there, it's hard to catch. I wouldn't have noticed. I knew it was like they were like Hulk comics, but it was actually from a story called Dogs of War, which first introduced the Gamma Dogs in comics.
The Gamma Dogs. Iggy Pop and the Gamma Dogs.
Yes, exactly. I like that.
So yeah. Let's see. Then the opening.
But like you said, not to belabor every little, but that took so long to set up that his dad was a scientist and vaguely what his dad was working on. You said it was like 11 minutes.
The opening montage was 11 minutes until we got all of that 65 stuff was just a montage, exposition montage, which I realized on my second go through of this film that if you'd cut that out, you could have followed what happened just fine by the characters explaining it again and all the flashbacks we had.
Again and again and again.
Yes, over and over.
Like, this isn't the Swamp Crew from Swamp Thing who's just willy-nilly experiment.
They took a lot of time, I don't know, just explaining the bits. It was almost like in Spider-Man where they took different properties of different spiders and combine them into one.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So he's got like the. I was reading the notes that were on screen, and so he violently stabs that jellyfish, and we get the green luminescence and a rapid immune system response. And then he hacks up a starfish, which has regenerative properties.
Uh-huh.
And then he tries to break a sea cucumber in half with his hands.
Fuck this.
And we see that the sea cucumber has tissue hardening as a defensive measure.
Yeah, we
and
see
then
that.
and then they throw in a lizard with its resistance to toxins.
And regenerative powers, probably.
Yeah.
Lizard grows a new tail. Yeah.
Can grow a new tail. Sometimes legs.
Oh, yeah, sometimes a limb.
Yeah. So okay, but all right. So but what exactly? Because the dad is talking often about like immortality. What was he actually trying to accomplish in all of this?
When he was
not clear.
It was.
He's trying to make a living.
He said later.
He's working hard for the money.
Yeah, trying to take care of his family, Thoreau.
In a coal mine.
The first time he's talking to General Ross, who might not have been a general at that time, it was unclear. But he said that he wanted to make super immune systems in humans.
All right, the green luminescence seems unnecessary then.
Yeah.
The murder of these sea creatures.
There was a lot of murdering sea creatures on screen.
Right. Almost all of them except for the lizard were. So it's just like maybe salt water is the key component and you're just not figuring that out.
Dr. David Banner wants human subjects for his experiments, but the president's science advisors say no. That's what Thunderbolt Ross told him.
Yeah.
So he experiments on himself. His wife has a baby. He realizes he's transferred something to the baby by the experiments he did on himself by being a dick. Right?
Something.
Yeah, something.
I don't know what.
Yeah, so like what is he like what is it? Like the gamma radiation obviously triggers it, so it's inactive.
Yeah. So you know what? It leads me to think like for this whole 11-minute little storyline, I just wish they had the cartoon Helix from Jurassic Park. That would pop up and walk you through every science
in like 20 minutes or 20 seconds. This all comes down to something bad happens, so Bruce gets adopted and grows up with noted character actress Celia Weston.
Yep.
And young Bruce, every once in a while, he'll get like little green splotches when he's angry or upset.
Yes.
Like his dad takes his pacifier and pushes him down or something.
Right? What is that about? Is that part of the experiment, Dave?
Why are you crying, crybaby? Jesus.
Stupid babies.
Can't do shit. Dad.
Stupid babies need the most attention.
And so then Bruce forgets that he has a dad or anything that had happened.
Yeah, he forgets everything from when he was younger than 5. He moves to San Francisco with some flowers in his hair.
Yep.
Gets a good job in a lab. We find out that his girlfriend... Wait. So this was the Berkeley Radioactive Genetics Lab.
The Berkeley Nuclear Biotechnology Institute.
Nuclear biotechnology. I knew there was something weird. So how often does biotechnology involve nukes?
Yeah. On a college campus.
Yeah.
Why would you need nuclear biotechnology? And what does that even mean?
What does that mean? Yeah. Sorry.
It's just, I don't know. You bombard cells with radiation.
Tiny living things with radiation.
Yeah.
And so when we're introduced to Bruce and he's walking
Poor
down the
frogs.
hall, poor frogs. Yeah, I thought they were going to make us watch a frog explode,
They
but
did.
they cut away.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
All right.
No, I don't think so. Anyways, he's walking down the hall with his helmet and talking to his friend or lab assistant, but it was exactly taken from the scene in Meteor Man. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Was it Meteor Man?
Was it? When
They're walking down the hall and it's like Eddie Griffin has all these like inventions that he's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was exactly that same scene.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's a great scene?
No, it's a boring like exposition type scene.
Yeah, no, it really is. Yeah. So and that's when we find out that his girlfriend Betty just dumped him, but he still has to science with her. They're doing experiments with gamma radiation, but they're not going well.
Yeah, they are.
Specifically, Betty broke up with him because he's emotionally distant.
Yes.
Yep. Ironic,
Don't you think?
considering things to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, just Bruce bottles everything up. I think his mom even said that earlier.
And
He's emotionally unavailable.
Yeah.
As an infant.
yeah. Although I love the flashback scene of them both wearing sweaters in the redwoods.
Yeah,
It's like, the sweaters are stand out so much for like
yeah.
they look like they're in a Subaru commercial. Anyways.
Yeah, so that is what he got from Nick Nolte was the like
Yeah.
emotionally unavailable and gruff. It wasn't science.
Yeah, it wasn't science. It was 20th century fathering.
Yep.
Later, Betty is visited by Glenn Talbot, an old friend who's now working for the private nuclear biotechnology industry. Doing
Called Atheon.
Atheon. Definitely not Raytheon.
Yeah, definitely not that.
He's trying to lure her away. Betty's dad, Colonel Thunderbolt Ross, is informed of this. Then, in a dream within a flashback, we see Betty remembering an explosion at the base when she was a child.
Yeah.
That was when like the picture came to life and they were wearing the sweaters. And then in the flashback that's within the photograph, they start talking about her dream, which we then see.
Yeah. Layers, man.
You nailed it. That's fucking crazy.
So then at the lab at night, Bruce comes across an angry poodle, which he ignores. like what?
Yeah. I'll just leave this dog here.
Yeah.
Apparently it's bring your dogs to work day for Berkeley janitorial.
It is later too, and I was going to say like maybe some of us are too young, but do you remember when you could bring a pack of dogs into the ER?
I remember
the ICU unit
Smoking a cigarette.
How many dogs? 3 dogs. All right.
Yeah, when people would bring just entire kennels onto onto flights with them.
Remember that?
Oh, the 80s. Then he leaves. The new night janitor arrives looking suspicious.
I would have loved it if he just offhandedly solved a really hard math equation that was on the board.
Right.
Pop it up.
So his opening line, what was the name of the old janitor? Bob?
Benny.
Oh, Benny's dead. I'm the new guy.
Dead. I'm the new guy. Like, can we go back to Benny?
Right.
What happened?
How does he know?
Yeah.
So this is what I was left wondering. Did he
true.
murder
Just
Benny?
got hired.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, because normally you'd get hired and they wouldn't tell you too much about the last guy. But...
Right.
Especially if they got killed.
Benny's dead.
Yeah, and so like if they're not trying to intimate that he killed Benny, that's just a really weird detail to include, and not like oh, Benny got fired, Benny found a new job, Benny quit. No, Benny's dead.
And she didn't ask, But obviously she's the kind of person that knows, the name of everybody in the lab, including the janitors, So she knew Benny, but she doesn't care.
No, her reaction is, oh, okay.
He died.
No,
Benny.
Her reaction to everything is, oh. She's also kind of a cardboard cutout in this, although she does a lot with her eyes because she's a good actress. So
yeah.
But yeah. That night at home, Bruce is visited by the janitor and his dogs.
He's not at home.
Outside. No, Bruce is at home.
Oh.
Yeah. The janitor shows up with his dogs. He's just like lurking across the street.
And Bruce is like, looks out.
Oh,
closes the drapes, looks out again, and he's gone. He's like, oh, well, that worked out. No more problem. Janitor doesn't talk to Bruce. He just leaves, goes home, does his science. And we discover, shockingly, that the janitor is Bruce's long-lost father by him muttering to himself, my Bruce, my Bruce.
Hey, Bruce, my Bruce. Yeah. Weird. And now he's experimenting on moss, right?
Yeah, I think there was a moth in there.
Not moth. M-O-S-S.
Oh, moss.
Yeah.
They even show that later on. They show a close-up of moss.
I believe those are lichens.
Yeah, yeah. There's like 30 seconds of just pictures of rocks and lichen.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any damn sense.
No. Spend so much time.
Then the next day, Bruce arrives at work to find Glenn Talbot and his douchey frosty hair back at the lab. He's trying to recruit Bruce, but Bruce isn't interested. Glenn gets pretty aggressive about it. He was in an entirely different movie than everyone else.
He was. That's true.
And he seriously there was a point later on where he's just beating up the military guarding Bruce's house to barge in, and he pushes a dude in a suit with the earpiece, Secret Service looking guy. He just pushes him off the porch and walks in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where is he a tough guy? In what universe is that dude?
Yeah. All right. So then in the lab,
he's like a billionaire, is what I took it as. He was just so rich.
Oh yeah, financier.
Wasn't
Mr. Atheon?
Because he was working for Atheon, and he said the pay can't argue with the paycheck. I took it to mean he was just a high paid head-hunting scientist guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. The frosted tips give him powers. But in the lab, let's see. Bruce goes into the science room because there's a problem, and then there's an accident. He's exposed to a huge dose of gamma radiation while his friend puts on a mask and cowers behind him in the fetal position.
Because radiation won't go any further than you holding your arms up.
Yeah. Well, if you block it with your
gamma
arm.
radiation, it's penetrating. It penetrates through a bunch of shit. It doesn't stop on the surface of a t-shirt.
Well, we never saw the lab assistant again. This was his last
Did he
scene.
Die?
Yeah. Did he?
Well, no, they said he was fine.
No. Yeah.
Oh my God.
He was just too scared to come back to work.
He decided to take some vacation days.
Yeah.
Some mental health leave. Yeah.
But also, Bruce gets hit with a dose of the nanomeds.
Yes, nanomeds.
The nanomeds.
So did the okay, so he got hit. Okay, so he was injected by, he got his dad's injections from when he was little, passed on. He got the gamma radiation and he got the nanomeds, which, by the way, this is the third or fourth movie with nano in it.
Yeah.
Yep.
They love that.
So it was the nanomeds they created, and the gamma radiation was supposed to activate the nanomeds, supposedly.
Okay.
And that's why Harper puts on the mask, the gas mask, because the nanomeds are being released into the room.
Okay, so I get it.
That makes sense.
I get it now.
Yeah.
I mean, it was extremely unclear and stupid, but I get it.
It was definitely. I had to I didn't catch that the first time watching it. He just when we see him in bed later and he says the nanomeds saved me. It was like, when did you get injected by nanomeds? And then they were just like airborne.
Kind of like the Green Goblin when he was clam baking himself.
He was airborne. I thought you were going to say like the nanomeds had little goblin gliders.
Well, that too.
Well, that's cute.
But no, that actually explains later on when Nick Nolte hits the pipe when he does the bong rip of nanomeds.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
That is exactly what it is.
No, that's exactly what he looked like. And like, I know that's what he's like. That man's done some bong rips. You can just tell. Anyways.
But so this is like the overcomplicated stupidity. This was my least favorite part of this movie was just the whole, he's got the DNA of a jellyfish and a sea cucumber and a starfish and a lizard. And then he gets
keep going.
And then he gets nanomeds. And then finally gamma radiation. It's just so much.
I'm more sea cucumber than man now.
Yeah. So despite all that, he survives and it says he's never felt better. He spends the night in the hospital, and when he wakes up, the crazy janitor and his dogs are there in the room. And later on, he doesn't seem to like ever question, like even before he realizes it really is his dad. And he's telling Betty, he was like, "Oh yeah, the janitor showed up to say crazy shit at me for a while."
Just like a janitor.
Janitor reveals he's Bruce's dad. He was imprisoned for 30 years. He wants to help Bruce, but he's against Betty. Bruce gets angry and tells him to leave. I liked the one line, and it might have just been Nolte's delivery of "better watch that temper of yours."
Yeah.
Let's see. At home, Nick Nolte does more science and makes a Hulk rat.
Did Bruce have a dream when he was under? Is that what?
Yes?
Yeah. What was it? It turned into.
It just reminded me of Homer's Vision Quest on The Simpsons.
Oh yeah. That was when there was jellyfish flying around the desert, wasn't it?
Well, it was all kinds of crazy things, but and Johnny Cash was his spirit animal.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I'm talking about Hulk, not The Simpsons. There were jellyfish flying around the desert in a shot.
You're right, they were.
But coincidentally enough, Johnny Cash was Bruce Banner's spirit animal.
Yeah. Not as a coyote, just as himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, Betty meets with her father for lunch, who warns her about Bruce, but won't tell her why. Betty calls Bruce, leaves him a message about the meeting with her dad, and he flies into a rage, turns into the Hulk, destroying the lab. So what the thing that sent him over the edge was an upsetting voicemail.
The thing that truly sent him over the edge was when he kicked over that mop bucket.
Yes.
That pisses me off.
Accidentally.
Yeah.
So General Ross said he was suspicious about this Krenzler guy, which reminded me way back we sailed over the Cameo. When
the Cameo, yeah.
Stanley and Lou Ferrigno come out of the building. They're dressed as they're security guards.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Stan Lee says, "Good morning, Dr. Krenzler."
Yeah.
Oh.
And that was like up until this point the only way that we knew his name was Krenzler at all, I think.
Yeah.
His name was Krenzler.
But the cameo was pretty cute, and Stan Lee said he ad-libbed those lines.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
But as he's coming out, he's telling Lou Ferrigno that security needs to be beefed up.
Because of
beefed up.
Hippies? Yeah, beefed. That's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, that was a nice cameo. So let's see. He's the Hulk.
So he turns into the Hulk. Yeah.
Yes.
So first off, my biggest complaint, I do not like the shade of green that they went with.
You don't like neon?
Yeah, exactly. Neon.
It is bioluminescent. Like,
This is what I'm
right. Yeah, it's that. And so, like, if anything, the animation wasn't bad. That didn't bring me out of the scene at all. But his color would, in contrast to the natural world around him. It looked a cartoon.
Yeah, and well, the 2003 skin texture just wasn't quite there yet. I think that's the biggest thing that helped make humanoid figures look more realistic in later CGI is just the texture of the skin.
Yeah,
but the color, yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
It was not
because
a good color.
If you were to add more yellow to it, it would be the color of green screen mocap.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So you'd think they'd be able to make it a cooler shade of green, but no.
No, it was...
The color wasn't so bad when he was in shadows.
In shadows, you're right.
Like, here, it doesn't look so bad. Later at the lake, it's still nighttime. It doesn't look so bad. But in daylight, it just looks
very
awful.
bad.
Yeah, it does.
It's not like, when he's playing Peekaboo Hulk in the tree.
So let's talk about it now. What's up with his shifting sizes? Sometimes he's like 8 feet tall. Sometimes he's 2 stories tall.
Yep.
Yeah, he grows in size and strength the angrier he gets.
Right.
Yeah.
So
depending on conditions, I think it really
But
he can get bigger or denser.
No matter how big he gets, his pants remain on.
Yeah.
This is a family film.
Yes. No Hulk dongs. But even in the in the Ed Norton one, they try to explain that, where he's buying these like XXX large pants,
right?
And, like cinching them up. But yeah, they didn't explain that in this.
No, and I watched,
or even how they got torn from the knee,
right? And I watched on my second watch through the very last time he's wearing giant shorts. So all right, I guess I'll give you that, even though the waistband fits him when he's both small and 2 stories tall, but all right, fine.
Yeah, right.
But the first 2 times, he's just wearing cargo pants.
Yeah.
He does lose his pants in the dogfight.
That's right. He loses them altogether.
That makes it sound like he lost at gambling.
But still, no big green floppy.
Yeah, member.
Yeah. So, let's see. He sees his dad. They have a weird moment. And then the Hulk jumps out of the building and bounds away into the night. The next morning, Betty stops by Bruce's house. She's been told there was an explosion at the lab. Bruce can't remember what happened the night before, but he talks for several minutes in metaphor about his dreams.
I have written down that Bruce eats chicken and dramatizes his heartbeat.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He was talking about his heartbeat in his dream.
Mm-hmm.
And he just got super serious and dark about the booming or something.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, exactly. He was like being born. A flash of light. A heartbeat. Boom. Boom.
Yeah. And all of the comic panel wipes throughout this movie, I don't feel like they really worked.
No, they didn't. I understand what he was going for.
Yes.
But it didn't work.
No.
I was confused by a lot of them, like visually, not knowing where to look.
Well,
or even narrative. They would show some people just walking away, and it would stay with them.
Yeah.
In this panel, and it's like, does that mean something? Yeah, it was confusing throughout.
Yeah, no, it was. And here's the thing: is that the tone of the film was so ultra serious and artsy, but like the comic frames and wipes like don't lend themselves to that.
Right.
Like if you're going to make like a serious film about the Hulk, then like don't include Comic Sans as your font and all the wipes.
All the wipes.
Would it look great in Orgasmo or something doing that kind of thing?
Right.
Or, or any Marvel movie, you could probably pull that off.
Yeah,
with.
even something like Ant-Man or like something like that.
Yeah. And some of those movies have elements of that.
Yeah, elements, but it's not, he went way overboard.
It's more subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was also a continuity goof with the panels when Talbot first shows up. There's one panel where Betty has her hand on her purse strap, and then in the panel next to that, it's not on her purse strap.
Oh wow!
Well, see, this is talking about the way that the intransigence of life and memory.
Yeah, that's supposed to be a metaphor about Schrodinger's cat. You don't know if her hand's on her purse strap or not.
It's science.
Is the Hulk in the box dead or?
So Betty's dad shows up to return Bruce's wallet, which is nice of him. And then Betty gets mad at him.
His wallet.
He does. We found your wallet at your place of work. Explain that.
My Hulk wallet.
Betty gets mad at him after he asks her to leave the house. Thunderbolt tells her she can't contact Bruce for a while. Betty gets Bruce's dad's contact info and pays him a visit. He gets creepy, steals her scarf, then tells her Bruce is special, but they can't help him now. Meanwhile, in his house, Thunderbolt talks to Bruce about something that happened when he was 4. He tells him that his lab is now considered top secret, and he warns him away from his daughter. That night, David Banner sends his dogs out to get Betty.
Well, and it's so funny because it's like, we need to find her. Go find her. It's like, dude, she was just here. She was in your house.
And he yells, "Let nothing get in your way." Like, do the dogs
understand?
know that? And he's like, "Fly, my pretties, fly."
And pick me up a fillet of fish on the way home.
Yeah. He calls Bruce on a secret cell phone that he planted in his couch, I guess, at some point.
Janitor doing.
Right. And tells Bruce about the experiment that got passed on to Bruce, tells him about the dogs going after Betty. This drives Bruce into a rage, and when he's visited by Glenn Talbot, it sends him over the edge and he hulks out. So this is the point. Glenn Talbot's arguing with the army guys outside. They won't let him in. And then he's nearly up to the door and we see through the window. He just pushes one of them off the porch and walks inside. And they never come in after him. They stay outside. So he breaks out, becomes 2 stories tall, fights off the army guys before leaving to go get Betty. Betty finds Hulk like lurking in some foliage.
No, he's being coy.
He's playing hard to get.
No, he's a little peekaboo. Hey.
It was back at the house that when they started shooting him with bullets, they showed him growing and getting angrier.
Yeah.
So at least they clarified it a little bit.
Yeah,
it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Well, I just kept, when he's holding Betty in his arms, like in his hands, King Kong style.
Yeah.
Like I just kept thinking, like, there's like this weird, like, love interest thing going on between them. Like,
yeah, there were a lot of King Kong parallels.
Yeah.
Actually.
I just kept thinking, like, she's probably the size of his dong at this point.
Hey, man, just because they're big doesn't mean they have a big dick.
Yeah, well, I guess. That's the irony of the Hulk. Everything grows but one thing.
The ironic Hulk.
The ironic.
It's tiny from all the nanoroids.
Nanoroid.
Right. So yeah, they share a tender moment, but then the dogs arrive.
Apparently, Nick Nolte let the dogs out. For those who were wondering all these years.
So we are then treated to like a 10-minute dog fight.
So long, and even though they were mutated, I didn't like seeing dogs thrown up against trees.
No,
And
even though they were evil mutant dogs, yeah.
Right. And poodles are vicious. They're assholes.
Yeah, they suck.
This scene was storyboarded to be 3 times longer.
Oh my fuck!
And it was.
So yeah, they only used 1/3 of the storyboard, simply because the CGI would have been too expensive to do it.
Ang Lee's like more dog beatings.
So I haven't quite captured what I'm trying to say yet.
Floggings will continue.
Well, yeah,
until we're out of dogs.
It was odd how the dogs just turned into a puff of green smoke when they died.
Right?
This is a family film.
He literally ripped them in half, and they became a puff of green smoke.
I guess that was supposed to indicate that their molecules were unstable or something like that.
Oh yeah, like the frog, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Anyways, Hulk gets torn up pretty bad, and he de-hulks. His wounds disappear. So Betty puts him to bed.
She's all, sun's getting low.
So this is where he loses his pants. They don't.
My money's on Betty. She was curious. She just wanted to take a look and see.
Still gambling. I lost my pants.
Yeah, it was weird because they showed the dogs chewing on his pants at one point, but then he's fighting that last dog, and
this guy needs a hobby.
It was the first dog that he killed, and he had pants, and then when he went after the poodle, suddenly he had no pants.
Schrodinger's pants.
We need to make a timeline for this.
They're both are and are not pants.
I laughed every time you said dog and then pants.
I think his pants were unstable.
The pants were made of nanites.
They went a puff of smoke for the shorts.
That, you know what? That's
the shorts.
That's what you. That's what you get for buying at Ross.
No.
At any rate, Ang Lee initially wanted the whole dogfight to be pantless.
Oh, of course he did. Of course he did.
Primal.
It's like deconstruction of the hero or something. I don't know.
He just wanted that Hulk dog to be flopped.
And can you blame the guy? He's just curious. He just wants to know.
Smacking the dog in the face.
He's windmilling. Getting a wind up before he can really get him good.
You have to charge it so it has the power.
It's like those flashlights you shake.
Looks like somebody brought their dogs to a cockfight.
That's the pun of the day. That wins.
Okay. So
Cockfight.
Betty puts Bruce to bed. He tells her that he was born this way, just like Lady Gaga.
Yep.
The Gamma Nanomites just released it.
Gamma Nanomites. How do I direct your call?
The next morning, he's sleeping it off. Betty secretly calls her dad. Bruce tells her her
Bullshit.
Yeah.
She narked on him.
Yeah. Bruce tells her his deepest, darkest fears just as the military shows up and tranks him.
Yep.
Yeah, she totally narked him out.
He forgot to tell her that his number one fear was being tranquilized.
Oh, sweet,
oh no!
poetic justice.
I wish I had said something before.
Why do I always leave that out?
They would have chokeholded me.
So they spend a solid 7 minutes of helicopter footage hauling him to an underground desert military facility. Where
and the computer graphic of the underground base. It took them 3 months to make that.
Oh my God!
I don't know what they were doing with their time. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it was. I don't see how that was so complex, but
yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like Ang Lee really, really got into the weeds of the details of this film instead of like paying attention to like how much the plot actually holds together and whether it's interesting to watch.
Well, and again, because there's no precedence for this David character and all that shit, he was telling a different story, obviously.
Yeah.
He was telling the Nick Nolte, Sam Elliott story, and the Hulk's in there sometimes.
Yeah, very much. So, yeah.
Maybe he thought the Hulk needed a father figure or two.
The following sentence I'm about to read encompasses 15 minutes of the film. They haul him to an underground desert military facility where Betty and her dad argue for a while.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the military tries to arrest his dad, but they're too late. He's already wandered into the worst guarded lab in the world.
Looking for some new dogs.
Right.
Stanley was right. They did need to beef up security.
Oh my God, he was so right.
Oh, our vanity kept us from listening.
So he hits the pipe, then subjects himself to some gamma rays.
Bong rips.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Oh, that's later, yeah.
No, that's at that point. He totally...
That is that point?
Yeah.
Starts sucking it. Like, that's not how that works either.
It doesn't turn him into a Hulk, though. It makes him absorb the properties of whatever he touches, which seems more annoying than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was a character in Marvel Comics called the Absorbing Man.
Yeah.
He's actually in all that, but he was on S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
Yeah.
Carl Crusher Creel.
Yeah. He had the big ball and chain that he used.
I mean, obviously he gets to be able to control it pretty quickly, I guess, but at first it's definitely a pain in the ass.
All right. Especially when he gets his hands stuck in that chunk of metal.
Yeah,
exactly. I would have been terrified. Just like, what if I can't get my hand out?
Right.
Yeah. And I'm crazy brick hand for the rest of my life.
It's like, why did
he wins every slap fight?
So if he touches cake, can he eat his own hand?
These questions and more.
Wow.
I find all of this to be incredible.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So he can eat his cake and be it too?
Damn, I'm a roll today.
Security guard shows up, so he kills him. Then Betty wakes up Bruce, and they go for a stroll around their old hometown.
Yeah, this nuclear test site housing.
Yeah. Later, Atheon and Dickie McFrosted Tips are given control over Hulk in an attempt to harness his powers as a weapon. Betty...
His powers, anger.
Right. Betty heads home, and Mr. 2003 shows up to beat up Bruce for a while, but Bruce refuses to turn into the Hulk. He just decides not to get angry. Like, in that... Yeah. So you can do that? You can decide just to not get angry.
Right.
So, yeah, they put Bruce in a tank of water and give him bad dreams. What exactly... What were they actually doing to him in there? How were they giving him bad dreams?
I didn't...
spicy food.
That'll do it every time.
The ghost pepper. Yeah, that was confusing as well.
They were using electrical signals to stimulate his brainwaves.
Naturally.
I am dubious of the science.
I don't know. I believe you, Al.
Yeah, so back in San Francisco, Betty arrives home to find Bruce's dad there. They have a heart-to-heart. He tells her he accidentally killed his wife, which is why he was in prison. Accidentally stabbed her while he was attempting to murder Bruce? That's what that scene was?
That's what it seemed.
Yeah. That's what it looked like. He couldn't cure him anymore because Ross took him off the project, so he couldn't find a cure, so he just decided to stab him.
Well, and he knew the explosion was coming, or he set off the explosion, or...
Yeah, but the explosion didn't seem to actually hurt any persons.
No. It was...
But, I mean, for the entire movie up to this point, I thought, at the very least, he killed his mother behind that closed door.
Right, because they were like, what happened behind that closed door? What was in that room?
Right.
Well, I think that was like a statement on repressed memories.
Oh.
Okay.
Like it being, because he says to him, like, repressed memories. It's like, ugh.
I mean, okay, but then
that's not clear
but then
to me.
Continue with your theme and actually have it happen behind that closed door.
Well,
that was the weird part. Yeah.
It's like
that's how I interpreted that. I was like,
he comes in frantically, pushes his wife into a bedroom, closes the door. They have a child looking at the door while this argument's going on. I mean, the only conclusion I could come to is that he killed her in there.
Yeah, and it would have made sense if he had.
Right.
And then he comes,
yes, if he had done it, actually, yeah.
All of that thematically would have connected. As it was, I see the theme. I see what you're saying, Brian, and it totally makes sense. And I think you're right. That's what he was going for. It's not good, but yeah, I don't think they executed it well at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, here we go. Back in the lab, Bruce hulks out, destroys the entire facility, kills Glenn Talbot, a.k.a. the Douchemaster 7000, and busts out. He bounds across the desert, takes out some tanks, visits scenic Utah, where he fucks up some helicopters, then makes a left-hand turn and heads back across Nevada, where he was before, all the way over to San Francisco.
Yeah, and he goes out to the flats, the salt flats in Death Valley, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Same location as in Independence Day.
Yeah, exactly.
And Burning Man.
So, but he went like 500 miles east, so that he could then turn around and go back all the way to the coast.
See, I thought the desert base was in New Mexico.
Oh, okay. I didn't
necessarily get that from anything.
I don't. That wasn't clear.
You know what?
From this at all.
You know. Actually, that's a good point, Al. Is that I think they were trying to draw a parallel between that and the Manhattan Project.
Los Alamos.
Yeah, Los
Alamos.
Yeah.
There,
I can see that. All right. Well, that makes sense then. But it's just the shot of the desert flats made me think like either Eastern California or Nevada.
Well, right, because that's what looks that way. I know White Sands is White Sands, but it doesn't quite look like the Imperial Valley, which is where that is.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah. I didn't get New Mexico, but it doesn't matter.
No.
Also, in the comic books, he also got his origin in New Mexico.
Yes. Okay. No, it makes perfect sense.
The fact that all of this is so confusing and we weren't able to just know by watching the movie.
Right. There's a lot of conjecture on our part.
Yeah. So
which shouldn't be.
No. So all of that is like 30 minutes of the most boring action sequence I have ever witnessed.
And technically Talbot killed himself. Just saying, Hulk didn't really kill him.
Well, I mean, didn't
karma.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true because it was there was the grenade.
He shot the M2 grenade at him, and it bounced off of him and exploded behind Talbot.
Okay.
Right, and the big red thunderbolt behind Talbot, and Talbot is flying intact towards the screen. It was so like MacGruber or something like that.
Yes.
That might have been the funniest moment of the movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah, have been.
I liked the Hulk in the desert sequence. I mean, it wasn't
like Jesus.
right. Yeah, he's where Hulk is tempted by the devil. I don't know, because this is what I grew up with the Hulk, bouncing around the desert, being chased by the army. So I liked this. It was true to the character.
Okay, so any particular visual image was fine. Like, it looked good. There was individual moments that were cool, but I just found the action sequence overall to be dull, unkinetic, not interesting. Like, the entire sequence as a whole. Like, individual shots and things, they looked cool, and they were very Hulk-like, like you're saying.
Well, except one thing brought me out of it and made me notice that it was animation was it's cool when he picks up that tank, but when he picks up that tank and starts swinging it at another tank, the tank he picked up is much smaller. It's maybe an animation glitch or whatever, but then he swings it and hits. And it's suddenly not the same size as the tank he's hitting.
Right.
Oh,
interesting.
Well, he rips the turret off.
Yes, I know, but I'm talking even length.
Okay.
Then he uses sort of like a club or a baseball bat, and it's smaller than the other one. But anyway.
Yeah,
I agree with Al, though. It was, it was cool. That was a very hulky type scene. If maybe it went on too long. But.
It was. No, it was incredibly long. Incredibly long.
Well, that's the swamp we're in. Incredibility.
So in San Francisco, he visits space, does some damage to a number of the city's scenic streets. But
that was so fucked up that Ross kept ordering that pilot to go up, and then the pilot made it too far that he drifted into space. That's kind of terrifying. That was fucked up. That dude's gonna have a terrible death really quick.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know. That was crazy to me.
Yeah.
Fly into space for me, your general.
Hulk actually, he saved the Golden Gate Bridge from getting hit by one of those planes.
He did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So there was a little, I don't know, benevolence going on there.
Right.
Oddly.
Like in the comics, Yeah.
Yeah.
Why he was never considered a villain.
Yeah. That's the thing, is that in this, the Hulk, at no point is he ever not just a destructive force, except for maybe this moment you're talking about, Al. And that's an important thing, is that he wasn't just destructive.
Right. And when he's doing his soul searching in the desert, he just wants to be alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And they keep that in the MCU, he bounces.
Yeah.
And is gone for a while.
Yeah. Okay, so Betty.
Oh, that kind of bounce.
Yeah, the leaping in the bounce.
Yeah.
No, he was in one of those Quinjets. But anyway.
But yeah, so Betty arrives and he de-hulks. The military arrests him.
And the military arrests him, and we move into the fourth act.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Where we have yet to introduce the foe.
Yeah. The villain hasn't become the villain yet. Yeah. So the military arrests him, sets up a meeting between him and his dad in a hangar on a giant electrified platform. His dad goes nuts. Nolte's out, monologues about how he wants it.
Basically, it's a two-person play.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And Nolte's just chewing up the scenery while Eric Bana sits and stares blankly.
Right. Literally chewing on the scenery.
Literally chewing on the scenery. Yes.
At first he's like, "Cry, get it all out."
He chews on a power cable, like
stop your crying.
Yeah.
This was part of the play Scenes from the Gamma Base. waiting
for Banner.
That's the name of the play.
Yeah. Which would become a hit in high school theaters after this movie came out.
Yep, across the country, looking for Banner. Hey, Edward Albee.
Anyway.
Yeah, so Nolte chews on a power cable like a rat.
Like a rat?
Yeah.
I know. Pulls that rubber off and then just spits it.
And then turns into Electric Dad.
No, he's not supposed to do that.
Those cables aren't supposed to be chewed on.
It was in the manual.
Yeah. So Bruce hulks out. They fight, take the fight to Utah, where David becomes Rock Dad.
We're gonna take this fight to Utah.
Then he falls in the water and becomes Water Dad. Then then apparently he can control the temperature. He freezes the water.
Yeah, it's sucking all the energy around him or something. It's definitely sucking.
Betty had to explain that to us, that they were absorbing all the ambient energy.
Yeah.
Is that a thing that they do?
They.
Not so.
The Nick Nolte is not known to.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he did do that in another 48 hours
in solid form.
Right.
This movie sucked the energy out of me.
Yeah.
It's okay. So they're frozen. Bruce decides to let go and allows his dad to suck up all his power. It's too much. David swells up like a giant green water Hulk tick.
He totally does.
And then the army blows him up with a gamma ray missile. They have those.
With a gamma bomb, apparently.
Is that
Why
like
didn't they
fighting
try
fire
that
with fire?
right?
Why did they use the thing that created them?
Yeah, why didn't they use that on the Hulk before? Or I don't know.
I guess it was a last resort kind of thing.
Okay. The fly.
You don't want to ruin the sanctity of Death Valley.
Right. The flying of him into space over San Francisco wasn't like a last resort time.
Yeah. Dudes gonna die in space.
So they have their fight at Pear Lake. They mentioned.
Okay.
There are Pear Lakes everywhere, Utah included. But
I mean, it just looked very Utah-y, all the red rock.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm
like Monument Valley or Moab.
Yeah.
Moab, Horseshoe Bend, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a Pear Lake in California, Colorado, Washington, Wisconsin. But no, I'm with you. Montana too.
Lake Facts.
Right.
Lake Facts.
Woo!
But yeah, I concur. This is probably Utah.
Yeah. They blow him up with a gamma ray missile, leaving Bruce floating alone in the lake unhulked. Is he dead? I don't know. Then we cut to a year later. Thunderbolt calls Betty to check in. We learn they think Bruce is dead, but there have been sightings of him.
It's a year later, but they pick up their conversation basically from the same point.
Right where they were, yeah. Betty says she hasn't seen him. Meanwhile, in Central America, Bruce is giving medicine to poor people. Bad guy shows up. He gives his famous line in Spanish. We pull out over the rainforest canopy, and the credits roll.
So, did he get more gamma powers at the end of this movie?
Since it was the gamma bomb that blew him up?
Yeah, did he absorb his dad and gamma dad at this point, and the gamma bomb and all of his gamma? I don't know how this shit works.
Yeah,
it's a good question though. Yeah,
he very well could have picked up some extra gamma.
I'm just trying to get a little gamma. Store. You know what it's like out on the streets.
Let me hold $1.
Ran some errands for gamma, at least.
What is it? What does an ounce of gamma run these days?
Oh man, whatever you're willing to pay.
Man, I ain't done gamma in years.
Just absorb somebody's dad.
Right. Absorb your dad.
Do it today.
This is the postmodern Oedipus.
Oh yeah.
And it's unclear what happened to David. I don't think he got absorbed by the Hulk, but maybe the gamma bomb worked on him or something.
And then he turned back to Nolte and drowned in a lake. Yeah, it was very odd.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he just exploded because he was a giant water tick at that point.
Right.
Yeah. Or he just vaporized like the dogs did earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Either way.
And I also wasn't clear. Was it... What am I trying to say? Was it Bruce's anger that he was absorbing that made him all unstable? Like, was it the anger that was too much for him, or just the power?
It was like an overload.
Yeah,
he was like getting more mad intentionally.
Well,
right.
I thought he let go and became unmad, and then he let the power flow out of him.
Unmad.
I don't.
Well, he's happy.
Just before he Hulk shouts, "Take it all!"
Bitch.
Good God, buddy.
So okay, wait. So I'd like to point out,
Take it all.
he told
his father
his
absorbed him.
He yelled at his father, "Take it all."
The parable, yeah.
Which,
the innuendo absorbed.
To me, I took that to mean his rage. Like he's giving him his rage.
Yeah.
Along with the powers. So,
Val, we beg you to reconsider.
Right. It's a
Think of it another way.
No, it's symbolic of I'm not going to carry the baggage and shit of my father.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
It's just a sexual thing in my mind.
It's also that. Absorb me. The day man.
Absorb me, senpai.
Yeah. This is the weirdest prequel to Brokeback Mountain.
That.
Hulkback Mountain.
Yeah.
Oh God. So yeah.
Just love story between a father and son.
Yep.
This movie.
Dad's everywhere. Dad. Yeah.
Dad's doing dad stuff. Uh-huh.
Like experimenting on you. And, and starting a garage band.
Thanks, Dad.
Trying to murder your girlfriend. And making homebrew.
Exactly. This was about dads, but there wasn't enough Jimmy Buffett in the soundtrack.
Nick Nolte needed boat shoes.
Yeah. Changes in attitudes, changes in latitudes.
That's what Bruce did at the end. He went to Central America.
Just jumping around.
That.
Do you think he jumped there, or do you think he took a plane?
Curious. Or ran.
What happens if he lands in the ocean? Can he jump from the bottom of the ocean, or does he jump swimming? What if he misses?
I don't know. He got out of the San Francisco Bay pretty easily.
One of the things I ran across when doing the comics history, it said that Hulk's body has adaptive qualities. So at some points when he is stuck underwater, his lungs can reform a little bit to allow him to breathe underwater.
Okay.
And,
I know that he can survive in space without air.
Yeah.
That I've heard. And he'll just float around. You can't throw him at the sun because he'll jump off it.
Whoa.
You have to put him in orbit.
Oh, the Hulk. Oh, the Hulk.
Oh, Hulk.
So, you guys ready to rank it?
Ranking him best. Yeah, let's do it. I don't care.
I just a couple of final thoughts before we get to the ranking.
Yeah. All right.
Like I said, I appreciated the bouncing around in the desert. Overcomplicating his creation was stupid.
Yep.
The whole dad thing I could have done without. It's the way that it was that the Hulk was inside him his whole life.
Yeah.
And finally triggered by some nanomeds and a gamma blast.
Peeking through a doorway.
Was
inside him.
Weird.
Yeah, it's as if being Hulk isn't enough conflict. You know, they had to add more. Because that was not enough. All this self-examination and loathing and anger. Like, nope, it needs crazy dads.
Yeah, they could.
My two dads.
I wish they could have figured out a way to take out the Nick Nolte character, because it was too much. I guess they felt that they needed a big bad, that just Hulk being chased by the army wouldn't be enough.
Yeah, like another.
So they save him for the, like you said, fourth act, for the very little, and then they introduce a super villain or foe, not villain, foe.
Yeah,
yeah. What?
This movie, it had stylistic issues, and it had a lot of story issues. It was clearly a bad script. Edward Norton was spot on.
But it wasn't just bad. Like we were saying, Brian and I particularly, it was confusing.
Yeah.
It wasn't just boring. It was confusing.
And visually.
I didn't mind the panels. I think it was a little overdone. It could have.
That's it. Overdone.
They could have stepped back a little from that.
I don't think it fit the tone of the film is the problem. This film was like fucking blank-faced, dead serious.
Right, and then they have comic book.
Yeah, I mean,
segues.
If it had been a lighter film, then I think the panels would have been fine in a little bit more moderation. But it was,
or have them come up when when we first see the Hulk. Then have that sort of those wipes appear instead of from the beginning. Because like you said at the beginning, so much seriousness. It was odd.
Yeah, I mean, it's about... it starts off with this crazy scientist stabbing his wife with a kitchen knife, essentially. Like...
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
It was weird.
This fucking movie is simultaneously bonkers and slow as fuck.
Yep.
Somehow.
At this point in my life in 2003, I was starting to get used to being disappointed by superhero movies.
Yeah, it was the norm.
Already.
It was the norm for a while. Absolutely.
I mean, I don't think I saw Daredevil until after this. Spider-Man was mostly satisfying. It was just the biological webbing that threw me off in that one. So that one, I guess I lived with. This, I don't know. It was, I don't know. It didn't work.
No,
it's like not. Dad. There's other kind of wipes besides Star Wipe. Why eat hamburger, Lisa, when you can have steak? And then she's all, I'm taking my name off this thing.
So all right, so.
Which is what Marvel did, or definitely what Disney did. So this is the stepchild they don't acknowledge.
No, this one they don't.
They do the Edward Norton one, even though pretty thinly. But yeah, they disowned this one.
I mean, no, Edward Norton, Robert Downey Jr. shows up. It is firmly MCU.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't remember him in that.
Post credits.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's also in a strip club scene.
Is he?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, I was gonna say I haven't seen it in a while. I'll believe that. All right. So I'm looking at the list here, and I'm thinking somewhere around the Daredevil area feels right to me. I don't know, guys. That's at around 34, so it's pretty far down the list.
Well, and we do judge on two elements: how good the movie was overall, and how satisfying it was or not as a superhero comic book thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it was satisfying to see some of this stuff for the first time.
Yeah.
Even though as a whole the movie's terrible. So I think around Daredevil we had the same sort of attitude with that. Like parts of it were impressive, but as a whole, no.
Al,
so, yeah.
Thoughts?
That's a good general area to go with. Is it
Better than Daredevil.
better than Daredevil? Yeah.
I mean, I think, yeah. Just simply filmmaking prowess alone, it's a better made film. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
The story is what it is. Is around the same level, I think.
Yeah. How about the Crow City of Angels?
That was not a good movie.
This is better than that, I would say.
Yes.
I'd have to agree, yeah.
How about Toxie 2?
Is it better than the Toxic Avenger 2?
I don't think so. I still maintain that was kind of a fun movie with all the Japan stuff.
The Toxic Avenger 2 is a secret masterpiece.
Yeah. There's less to object to as far as violence and shit. And it's, fun. Multicultural. In a good way, Lloyd.
I'll take the below Toxie 2. I'll double that. I'll second that.
All right.
That would put
in favor.
That would put this at 33.
Yeah. Yes, I would. I can live with that, Al.
Yeah. No. I'm good.
All right. Here we go. Putting a Hulk at 33 on the list. That was our 48th movie. Our 48th superhero movie.
That was in honor of Nick Nolte and 48 hours.
Right. So we are closing in on 50 here, guys. Wow. Next week, the 49th movie and the 4th of 2003, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh, geez.
Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Extraordinary Gentlemen.
So that's coming up next week, everybody. Check in. Number 50, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to figure out something special to do for 50. I don't know. We'll think about it.
Yeah. Can we all get diamonds? Is that the diamond anniversary?
In our teeth. Yeah. Hey. We'll see you again next week. Thanks, everybody, for listening. This has been Throw Smiley, thanking you for listening to Harmless Phosphorescence, which is a byproduct of my obsession with emotionally distant men.
I'm Josh Cece, and do you really believe that I am separate from you?
I'm Brian Lesh, and yes, I am a weak little speck of human trash, Dad. Thank you.
I'm Alaric Weber, and I'm going to go zen out on some lichen.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
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 Harmless Phosphorescence was brought to you by executive producers Atticus Burkett and Michael Beckwith, and producers Alyssa Dent, Hedda Paulson, and Jojo Birchtree. Harmless Phosphorescence is a production of the Harmless Entertainment Network.